Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. A few years ago, a man called Willie Shaw, who was a well-cared speckled face in these parts, later the Royal Scots Fusiliers, invited me to go to Kilmarnock to speak and have lunch with the veterans of the Malaya campaign of the Royal Scots Fusiliers. And I was ushered up onto the stage, and Willie said to me, "No more than 6 minutes." After 1 minute of speaking, I realised that nobody was paying any attention to me, so I decided to cut and run at that stage. Because, of course, these men who had shared an experience together all those years ago were far more interested in communing with one another and catching up and showing black and white photographs of what life was like in the mid-1950s when they were on the other side of the world serving our country. The Royal Scots Fusiliers started life 347 years ago, and Reverend David has pointed out one particular glorious, in inverted commas, moment from the Second World War. But of course, the thing about a regiment that is as old and has such a distinguished story as the Royal Scots Fusiliers is that there were many other memories, many other moments of service, many other moments of crisis down the years. Some of them were good, and some of them were very difficult. I shudder to think if we had social media back when the Royal Scots Fusiliers burnt down the White House in America, whether we would have got an easy ride over that particular thing, but of course we did. And the Royal Scots Fusiliers, and eventually with the Highland Light Infantry, had a very gallant history as well, because when the amalgamation took place in 1959, there were 20 Victoria Crosses that had been awarded to the respective regiments. Now that is a number that is not exceeded by any other regiment in our country. And I spent Monday in Durham with the remaining relatives of a soldier called Fusilier Dennis Danini, VC. Danini was from, he wasn't from these parts, he was from the northeast of England. They were in Easington Colliery as a family of Italian immigrants, but he ended up in the Royal Scots Fusiliers, and at the age of 18, in January 1945, he lost his life on the border between Holland and Germany. And for his actions that day, he was awarded the Victoria Cross. There are 7 remaining cousins who are slightly older than me, who are the custodians of that Victoria Cross. And we gathered in Durham last Monday in order to commemorate Dennis Danini's bravery, but also to celebrate that it would have been his 100th birthday last Monday. And I tell that story because this strand of gallantry and shared experiences down those 307 years is something that continues right up to this moment in time. And we, as Royal Highland Fusiliers, former Royal Scots Fusiliers, place an enormous amount of importance on the community that we are part of at any moment in time, being supportive in those shared experiences. So the fact that as a young officer, nearly 50 years ago, I sat where you are sitting now and watched those colours be handed over in this church, is something that seems like yesterday, but it also seems like something that is terribly important, because it is something that cements this idea of care and duty and community involvement with soldiers. that feeling is repeated today as that standard from the Royal Scots Fusiliers veterans will go up onto this particular hall of the church after we have all gone. We thank you for that. And today, for those of us who are veterans in the Kirk this morning, will go away with memories of today. And I can remember speaking to the son of the Reverend James Morrison, who wrote the regimental hymn and wrote the regimental column, about 10 years ago, and he said that his father always said that memories were very important because they tell you who you were, they tell you who you are, and they also give you a sense of understanding of who you might be. So thank you for the memories of today that will live on in our minds long into the future, and thank you very much for taking into your charge the banner of the Royal Scots Fusiliers veterans. Thank you.
Thank you, General. I'd like to ask Fusilier Sam Reid to read our second list.